Good afternoon. My name is David Moore, Superintendent, Indian River School District. Today is an opportunity for us to answer questions regarding COVID-19 and school closures. Our district has been working very hard for the last 2 weeks in preparation for today. Over the last several weeks, we've been working diligently to ensure that when we open our teaching and learning, that we are ready to meet the needs of all students. For the last 2 weeks, our team has been very hard at work. We are providing lunch and breakfast to the community each and every single day, Monday through Friday, over the course of the week. We are providing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Currently, we have 33 different locations across the community providing those meals. Last week, we served over 10,000 meals to the community. This week, we're adding an evening course. So during lunch, you will receive opportunities to take home meals for lunch as well as an evening snack. So please refer back to our website, check the website where those locations would be in order to ensure that your child has opportunities to receive breakfast, lunch, evening meals, as well as weekend meals starting at the end of this week. So please check the website, make sure you have that information available to you. Additionally, when we found out that we had to close, we were proactive and have already distributed laptops. 5,000 students now have access to devices ready to begin our new platform, our online learning format. These students have the devices in their houses and are ready to go. We have additional laptop distributions taking place tomorrow and Thursday. These laptop distributions take place at 6 locations across the community. In order to ensure that we're following CDC recommendations and social distancing, we have identified a schedule. So on the 31st in the morning, all of our elementary students from 9 to 11 o'clock will have the opportunities to come and check out devices. Then moving from the afternoon, 12 to 3 for our middle school students, and then 4 to 7 for our high school students. Please follow the schedule. Please note you do not have to arrive at the initial start time. We have wide windows available. Please take your time. We will be using a process in which you do not even have to get out of your car. So you will drive up, we'll give you the paperwork, we'll take it back, we'll bring you the laptop back, and you'll drive right off. So this is a process that we're following, which will ensure that we are safe and you are safe and your son or your daughter is safe. Then on April 1st, we're going to shift that schedule around, which means during the morning, high school students will have the opportunity to come and check out devices 9 to 11, and then our evening shift, which will be 12 to 7, will be opportunities for middle school and high school students to come in and check out devices. Please follow the website, 6 locations across the district. If your son or daughter needs that device, that would be the opportunity to come in and check out the device. Right now, we're providing a device, 1 for each family. After we complete the process, we'll circle back and see if there are opportunities to expand the offering to give 1 or 2 additional devices. But it's important to note, in the work that we have done in the development of this plan, we knew we needed to be flexible. Our instructional provision plan isn't a one-size-fits-all plan. We know that one size fits none. This is a plan that is a flexible plan. This is a plan that ensures that we understand the burden that is being placed on parents, the burden that is being placed as a result of this new reality. The Indian River School District wants to be part of the solution, wants to be an opportunity for us to provide meaningful, standards-aligned instruction in the home, understanding that each home environment is different. Our instructional provision plan has 4 options. The first option is a technology resourced option. Options that our team has designed using some of the technology that we use in the confines of our classrooms each and every single school day. Devices and technology that our students are used to using. This is a platform that allows the students to be on the computer, receive instruction, adaptive instruction based on their learning needs. We also have a blended model where the teacher has the opportunity to pick from instructional resources that we have available, as well as other activities based on her or his understanding of your children. Supplement the two between the instruction, the textbook, or activities that can be done at home with resources that are available within the home. And then third, a model where the teacher drives the entire instructional delivery process, designing and developing lessons that are used to meet the needs of all of their children within the classroom. And then fourth, our final option would be a paper-based option. Knowing that the environments at every school or every home are different, this would be an option if technology isn't being accessed correctly or in the process of acquiring the resources needed or the materials needed to use that technology. This is an opportunity to use that paper-based process to ensure that we are providing instruction for all of our students. Today is an opportunity for us to have conversation and have dialogue. We know that this transition isn't going to be easy for anyone. This is a new reality for absolutely all of us. So as we implement this new reality, we knew there were going to be opportunities for us to pause and reflect and learn. And one of the best ways of doing that is by listening. So we provided an opportunity and will continue to provide an opportunity to our parents and community members to ask questions. So for the last week, we've been collecting questions in order to answer them. And we know questions will continue to come. We know there will be opportunities to change and modify our process based on what we learn. As we looked at implementation today across the nation, there were some glitches. Systems that we use, Canvas, Focus, which you'll hear more about, were slow to operate, and in some cases shut down. So we've had the opportunity to look at our interaction and how it went for us in Indian River. We're happy to report, as of today, neither of those systems have had any process problems in terms of delivery. But we will continue to monitor and modify as needed if those systems, those external partners, begin to bog or slow down. So we're asking for patience, we're asking for understanding, and we will continue to be flexible in our delivery model to ensure that the instruction that we are providing is unique to meet the needs of the home environment as well as the standards that your child has been charged to master over the course of the year. So let's begin by answering a few questions. Just set up the confines of what this will look like over the next several minutes. I'll bring in different individuals from my team, experts within their field, to answer questions for you. I will answer a few questions. We have pulled together questions. We've had a number of questions asked. We feel, based on what our presentation is today, that will give you a great deal of information to ensure as we navigate this new reality, we all have a firm understanding as to what's to come. So some first questions. Are schools going to be graded this year? The answer to that question is schools will not be graded this year. So the accountability has been placed on pause. End-of-year exams also will not take place. So those exams that were required for graduation were not or are not going to be enforced for this year's graduating class. So if you're a senior and you have the 24 credits that are needed to graduate, you have the GPA to graduate, you will be able to graduate, which leads us to the next question. Are we going to have graduations? Seniors, you have worked since you were in kindergarten to obtain this milestone, and we will not deprive you of the opportunity to walk across the stage and receive that diploma. When we graduate, how we put this together will be dependent upon when we're released to reopen schools. So our principals, our high school principals, will be working with their students to keep them informed regarding when schools will reopen and how do we ensure that we have those activities such as prom, grad bash, graduation. We continue to process information as it comes in, and we'll keep you informed and making sure we have opportunities to ensure that the work that you've been doing over the last 12, 13 years, you have the right to celebrate that work, walk across the stage, and receive that diploma. Grades, third 9 weeks grade has been another point of questions that's being asked. Right now, we've asked our teachers to process grades over the course of this week. So we've extended the time for teachers to process grades or enter grades for the third 9 weeks. Why did we do that? Well, schools were shut Friday afternoon. So we wanted the time for students to make up work that they may have been obligated or required or allowed to make up over the course of the week that they were off. At the same time, our teachers have been working very diligently to prepare and provide instruction in a new reality for them. So we thought it was in everyone's best interest to push back the entering of report cards. Now, we are still working on how we're going to display or share the report cards with you, and that will be questions that we will answer in a coming episode of this presentation. We will not extend beyond this school year. So we have a plan that is in place. Our instructional provision plan ensures that we're able to expose students to the standards for the remainder of the school year. The plans are flexible, but will ensure that we provide enough instruction over the course of this year not to extend the school year. So these are some of the questions that I was charged to answer. At this time, I want to bring in our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Richard Meyer, who will answer some additional questions regarding curriculum and instruction. Mr. Meyer?
All right, thank you, Dr. Moore, and it is certainly a pleasure. Let's see, is this the right camera here? Because I'm looking at the camera. Down there? Okay. Hey, it's our first time doing this Facebook Live. I'll tell you, it's an honor and privilege to be here, be part of the team here in Indian River, and very honored to be the first assistant superintendent to talk about their area of expertise. But I will tell you that, being a former member of the military, where one of our core values was to always place the mission first, what I've seen from our transportation department, from our food service, from technology, from everybody in this entire district, it's been such an honor to be a part of this, because I will tell you, those of us that have been working behind the scenes have done nothing but be best by kids and to place that mission first. So I honestly would love to answer questions for this entire hour and another hour about curriculum instruction, but I've only got about 20, and I've got some other speakers, so I'm going to respect their time and try to get through these as quickly as I can. But as Dr. Moore mentioned, what we've got here is a sort of an unprecedented situation in the state of Florida for the past 20 years, right? We won't have that traditional end-of-the-year testing, and that is going to impact us in a number of ways. Some of your students are involved in courses where they need that EOC, or formerly, right? The statute said that EOC would count for 30% of their grade, and that's not going to be the case. So if you're taking civics, if you're taking algebra, if you're taking geometry, if you're taking American history, since those EOCs will not be taking place, your grade, your final grade, will be the grade that the teacher assigns you from the School District of Indian River. So more information will be forthcoming about that. We have a lot of questions about how long will the closures last. Will it be the end of the month? Will it be the end of the year? Right now, we don't know that. Right now, the state of Florida has said they're closed through April 15th. And so we'll have to just sort of take that as it comes to see whether or not we'll come back and be able to do things like the final exams. But what I can tell you is that those EOCs will not be occurring, and that your grade in those courses will be based off the work here in Indian River. As Dr. Moore mentioned, high school seniors, those requirements have been waived, but we do have questions from parents about, I have an underclassman, right? I have a 9th grader that's taking algebra. Those students will need to meet that algebra requirement through a state-administered test. Now, more guidance is coming from the state, what assessments that could be. We've heard different things from them. They have not put that necessarily down into paper yet, because, once again, this is still a fluid process. But don't need to worry about that right now. It will not impact their earning that credit or moving forward in their grades. We have a number of other students in high school that are involved in things like AP, IB, things of that nature. AP, for one, is going to allow students to take these assessments at their house. IB has decided to just cancel the assessment. So your high school guidance counselors, I know that you've been apart from them, but they have been hard at work making sure they have up-to-date information. And so parents and students of high school students who are impacted by this, I would encourage you, now that our teachers are back in full force, to reach out to the schools and reach out to the counselors, and they're going to continue to work with you. Bright futures, that's another one that impacts a lot of our students. I may have these boyish looks. Dr. Moore, don't make fun of the receding hairline, right? But I was a bright future recipient, right? So I understand how important this is to our families. It really is something that's going to impact a lot of folks, and they wanted to take that additional SAT opportunity to have that opportunity. The Department of Education has not changed the guidance around bright futures yet, but we will keep our students informed as soon as we hear anything from them. So once again, the SAT, they administer their own assessments, and they've canceled the ones recently following the CDC guidelines. More information will be forthcoming as to when those SAT assessments will resume, and we will get any information about changes to Bright Futures out to our students as soon as we get that. Yeah, impacts to next year, right? I mean, we got students that understand, parents understand that the FSAs determine which courses you may be eligible to enter into, right? Like our advanced courses, our honors courses. And so without that, the question becomes, how will we place students into those courses? And we're looking at a number of options. And so some of the other great questions we have from parents about how are we going to ensure that our students master the standards. We've got some options once we get rolling about some unit assessments that we do locally. We have things like iReady that we can administer. But once again, I go back to we're still uncertain as to when we will return to school. Right now, it's only closed until the 15th. I think a lot of people that are tuned in are aware of the president making some remarks yesterday. More information will probably come from Tallahassee soon, and we will adapt and overcome any obstacles and get that information out to you. So there will still be a means, I will tell you that, there will still be a means of ensuring that each student in the school district of Indian River County is appropriately placed into the course for next year. We're going to make sure that happens. Electives, once again, great questions from parents. How are we going to make sure that we get electives? How are we going to make sure that we get the course scheduling? Right now we're following the CDC guidelines of not being face-to-face any more than we need to, doing the social distancing. We hope that we can get some good processes underway with some virtual meetings that we can start to reach out to our students and ensure that we're collecting the data from them and having those personal conversations that our counselors always have done a great job of doing. Another good question from a parent about PERT. For those of you who don't know, PERT is used to ensure that our students who want to take dual enrollment courses are able to do that. Once again, temporarily on pause, but as soon as we're able to resume doing the PERT testing, we will do that. I have not seen anything but flexibility, compassion, and grace from everyone around the state. I will assure you that the institutes of higher education that we have articulation agreements with, they are not going to be the barrier for our students continuing to enroll with them, and they're going to work with us and be the tremendous partners that they always have been in getting our students enrolled in those classes. So if you have those questions about PERT, we're going to make sure that we are able to support your students when the time comes for that. So moving into some of the things that Dr. Moore hit on very well, but I've got some specific questions about our instructional provision plan, and they're great questions, right? Parents, you guys that are tuned in right now that want to be engaged and always have been engaged, it's really exciting. Like I said, I could talk for the rest of the day with you guys about curriculum instruction. It's my passion, and I really think that the district has put together a great plan, and the biggest piece about this to me is that it's our teachers. If you look around the state, you see, as Dr. Moore says, one size fits none, but you see, unfortunately, in some instances where teachers aren't being connected with their kids. I mean, that's the hallmark of this district. That's the hallmark of these teachers here that I've been incredibly impressed by, and they have the resolve to connect with your students to ensure that they are continuing to provide that instruction. So some things you may have seen out there with our instructional provision plan, and you may have these concerns, right? Is it really going to be 6 hours a day? How am I going to support that? Will each of my students have to be on the computer for 6 hours a day? And I guess the one global answer to that question is one size fits none. We are going to work with each and every family, each and every student to make sure that everything that happens from this point forward is best by kids. And so for some students, they may excel. Some families, they may excel with 6 hours of computer-based instruction. Other students may need to take a break, do things paper-based. We're going to work with you to make sure that you are being supported in the way that you need to be supported. Got a question here about what materials do I need to have. So you're going to see recommendations from teachers. If you have these materials, if you can do this, then here's an option for you to do this type of assignment. If you can't, just reach out to the teacher. That's all we need to do. Just reach out to the teacher saying, I know that normally you may think I would have these common household supplies, but we can't leave the house to go get them right now. The stores are closed down. Is there a different opportunity for me to complete this assignment? I guarantee you the answer is going to be yes. I guarantee you that our teachers are going to show you that compassion, and they're going to work with you, and they're going to find a way for you to be successful with your students. So don't worry about not having the materials. I got a question here about specific times. The students need to be online. While I think that some of our teachers are going to attempt to do things live, like we are now, the hope is that they will also be able to have options, record it maybe, and be flexible in that. So you should never feel pressured to, or stressed that you're not able to be online at exactly the right time. I know that our teachers are going to work with you and work for the benefit of your students, and none of this should be additional pressure, any more so than what we're all going through right now. As far as, special classes, CTE, honors classes, foreign language, any electives, right? We've got so many here. I'm so excited, sharing with Dr. Moore, so excited to bring my kids here to be a part of this school district because of the wonderful opportunities that are there. When my staff, my team built the instructional provision plan, it was the core courses, right? It was the courses that are needed for promotion and for graduation, but we know we offer so many more, and that's the work that our teachers are going to be doing this week. Each of your teachers are going to be reaching out to you with very specific plans and opportunities for you to stay connected with the curriculum that they support. We've got some amazing science teachers, some amazing CTE teachers that just do things that blow my mind, and there's no way that we would be able to replicate those, and the best person to put that information out to the students is them. And that's the beauty of the school district of Indian River County's plan, is that we're connecting our phenomenal teachers with the students. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't heard from them by the end of tomorrow, I know there's probably going to be some connectivity issues. By the end of tomorrow, if you haven't heard from each and every one of your child's teachers, reach out to the school. Right? I assure you that they're working hard to get there, but we're all learning a new environment right now. So please be patient with us as we work as hard as we can to connect with you. And by the end of tomorrow, I really feel strongly that each of your students' teachers are going to reach out to you and identify a pathway to move forward for this provision plan as long as it's necessary. Attendance, attendance is not something that we're going to be able to do every day. Quite honestly, when you look at the best practices and the research around distance learning, it may not be something that's really appropriate for our high school students. It may be more project-based learning where they are given an assignment from their teacher, given 2 or 3 days to get a bulk of work done, and so that attendance may not be necessary. However, we do know that the routines are very important for our youngest learners, and I'll admit, I've got a 5-year-old. He loves the routine, and so that day-to-day routine and structure may be more appropriate for our younger learners than our older learners. But at a minimum, what we're trying to make sure is that you have multiple contacts with your child's teacher at every level throughout the week, and we remain engaged. So continue to be on the lookout for those communications and be responsive to your teachers. Grades, Dr. Moore hit on some of the things that we already have discussed doing as far as the third quarter grades, making sure we have that additional week for students who had makeup work or that we're trying to get things in to make sure they weren't penalized for that. But that just really brings us to the question of what's it going to look like moving forward, right? What's it going to look like for the fourth quarter? And keep in mind, we are still teaching and learning. This fourth quarter is covering and finishing the standards that we've yet to cover so that each and every one of our students in each and every one of our classes gets their full year of education that they deserve. And so, yes, we are giving assignments that are appropriate. Yes, we are giving grades that are appropriate. Now, we are going to be flexible and we are going to be compassionate because we understand that during this time, what we don't want to do is unfairly penalize a student because of the challenges of the distance learning. But they will earn a grade. They will earn a grade from their teacher that is appropriate to the mastery of the standards. So if you have questions about that, specific questions, challenges, that's what we're here for. We have the CNI hotline. I know your principals. We just got off calls with them, virtual calls, by the way, and they are very excited to reconnect with you and answer all of your questions that you may have about grades. And so, yeah, they do matter. I answered an email to a parent today. It's not just people fearful that they will get bad grades, but some of you that are listening and that are tuned in really want that GPA, right? You want that A. You want that A in that advanced course because that's helping you get that Bright Future Scholarship. So you will earn the credit for the courses you are enrolled in right now, and we will continue to make sure you get the grade that you earned and deserve. So student progression, my last one. Like I said, I could do this forever, Dr. Moore. But I won't. Last one is about student progression, and I sort of hit on that. You know, how are we going to know that our students have mastered what they should? And we've got some plans for that as far as delivering unit assessments and other progress monitoring tools. We are uncertain as to when we are able to return, but when we do, every effort is going to be made to make sure that the students who we have some feeling that maybe they were had some difficulties during this time, that we provide them additional supports. This school district has always been phenomenal about summer learning opportunities. I'm hopeful that we are able to resume a normal schedule by then. But then we have next year, right? We have lots of things of after school and things we can just make sure that we're going to do to ensure that our students are not negatively impacted by this any longer than they need to be. And so some students some parents are questioning about promotion and retention. And I would say, you know, coming from my former role at the Office of Just Read Florida, where we supervise the third grade retention policy, whole grade retention is appropriate for some students and is not appropriate for others. And so these decisions really have to be made as a team with your student's teacher, with the principal, with the family members to understand whether or not this whole grade retention is better for the student based on where they're at and their mastery of the standards. And so I will say that earlier is better. So some of our younger students who may not be where we want them to be, it may be appropriate to pursue a retention. For our older students, I think that there are opportunities, like I said, for summer learning, for course recovery, things like that. But each and every one of these, just like Dr. Moore said, one size fits none. And so we'll be having these conversations for the benefit of each and every one of our students with their unique needs. As far as promotion requirements, you know, each grade level is a little bit different, although some of them are the same. You know, now with the state relaxing that promotion to fourth grade requirement, all promotion decisions essentially are with the district. You do have certain things for middle grades promotion that the students have to have their core courses for ELA, math, science, social studies to go to ninth grade. You have to pass your courses, right, to go from fifth to sixth grade in middle school and so on and so forth. But I think that you probably had an idea of where you were at the end of third quarter, and we really need to have those conversations of what we need to do here with the instructional provision plan to assure that we're mastering those standards and being ready to move on. You know, and like I said, we got some questions here about course schedules for high school students. Keeping in mind, you know, we are still teaching and learning. Right now, your students are still enrolled in the 6 courses that they were in, and they will continue to be enrolled in those courses. They will earn credit in those courses and earn that GPA. We aren't going to, you know, just stop taking certain courses. We're going to continue taking each and every course that we were taking because we feel like that there was a reason that we were enrolled in those courses. It was obviously for the instructional design and the benefit of that student, and we're going to continue to do a phenomenal job in providing that support. So I think that is all the time that I'm allowed. If we get an opportunity, I'd love to be back each and every day. You guys keep sending your questions in to the email address. Our phenomenal PIO, Kristen Maddox, has got me going with this and sending things to me, and I just love supporting you guys. So let us know how we can assist your students. And without further ado, as we take our pause here, very excited about these, I get to say we will return after a brief message from one of our school board members.
Hi, my name is Terry Bearborg, and I am a school board member of District 4. I wanted to say thank you to everyone for dealing with all that we're dealing with in this time, and to wish you well in online learning. Thank you for stepping up. I've been a teacher and a parent, and I know how hard it is to keep kids motivated and on the schedule. And parents, I'm going to tell you my 2 cents of advice is do the best you can with keeping them on a schedule and staying up with the work. So develop a schedule, stay on top of the assignments, and definitely speak out if the work is too much, because the teachers are still learning this as well, as how much to assign. They've never taught this way, most of them online before. And so there's a delicate balance of how much to assign and how much not to assign. I want to thank a group of people that have really gone above and beyond. First of all, our principals and assistant principals have done an outstanding job of getting things out there for all the laptop distributions and all that, to our cafeteria staff for stepping up and making all the meals and bringing out water for all the sites. That was really appreciated. To our transportation department for bringing meals out to the community, thank you. Curriculum and assessment, thank you for developing all these last minute changes to how we're teaching online. To student services and ESC, thank you for providing support. Finance, thank you for keeping things afloat and for keeping the checks going out to our staff. IT, wow, what a great job you've done of setting up everything and getting it distributed, so we appreciate that. To the superintendent's cabinet, thank you so much for your dedication, for putting in many extra hours, and Dr. Moore, of course, for everything that you've done to make sure things are going well. I'd just like to say thank you also to our maintenance staff for keeping things clean for when the kids come back. They'll have a nice clean environment, and secretaries for keeping communication open. And for any departments that I forgot, I'm so sorry to have not mentioned you, but thank you for all you're doing. We are a school district family, and we're all here together for our kids, and we're hoping we are back together soon in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barenborg. So if you would have asked me 3 months ago if I would be hosting a town hall meeting in a room that is virtually empty due to social distancing, I never would have thought that this is work that we would be doing here now, live and in person. But really to have the opportunity to do it with such a wonderful team, folks across the community truly have bent over backwards in order to ensure our students get what they need when they need it. We have worked around the clock. So Ms. Barenborg, thanking all of those members of this team, well-deserved hard work being done. So before I turn it over to our next presenter, just want to talk timeline briefly. So today was the first day back. All of our teachers, under the leadership of their principals, had the opportunity to participate in professional development and training using the platform Teams off Microsoft. I had the opportunity from my office to connect with elementary school, Sebastian Elementary, and bring greetings. So the tools were working, the meeting started right on time. The principal was able to go through this new way of work, and teachers then, over the course of the morning hours after participating in that development and training, then began to put their plans in place. This afternoon, this evening, and into tomorrow, teachers will continue to contact their students as well as their parents. They will be using Canvas, they will be using email, they may have been using Dojo, a system that they have been using to communicate with you for a number of years. We've encouraged teachers to continue to use those systems that they have been using over the course of the year, because they have been working. So a sense of normalcy is something that we want to continue to support. Tomorrow, as we already discussed, we will have the laptop distributions. If you have not heard from your teacher through Canvas or those systems that I mentioned, please email the principal or call the school. We have a system that allows, that ensures all phones will be answered. So please, we do not want you wondering or feeling as if you don't know something. Email the principal. Our principals have been absolute rock stars in this time, and they understand the importance of their role in supporting you as a parent as we move through this difficult time. So now I want to bring in our next presenter. We know that social emotional support is a big concern during this time, not only during this time of uncertainty, but during a regular school day or a regular school year. Add this pressure on top, there are questions and concerns that we know we need to support families with, as well as our most fragile learners, exceptional student education. How do we continue to provide those unique experience, those explicit instructional models that are IEP-driven in the confines of learning at home? So we have another resident expert here to answer questions and support you, Dr. Catherine Parandozzi, here to answer your questions. Dr. Parandozzi?
Good afternoon, Dr. Moore and Facebook Live viewers. I don't know, but Mr. Myers said that he had 20 minutes. No one gave me a time limit, so I could be here a while. Okay. I do only have just 3 questions. I'd like to go through some of those. I'll do so rather quickly. Our first, not only do we have exceptional student education in the Student Services Office, but we have mental health, and we also have student assignment. And within the Student Assignment Office, we have school choice. So our first question is around the school choice and the school choice option. So that question is about, are we going to extend that school choice application process? As soon as we hear from the state what is going on and the direction in which they are moving, we will make a determination on that extension. However, we do encourage all families, please continue to submit your application for school choice. You can do so on our website. Go to the student assignment department and go ahead and submit your application there. We will announce at any time as soon as the state gives us that further direction. So please be aware, please look at our website. All notices and updates will be provided on our site. Please look out for that. Also on Twitter, the ESE and Student Services Twitter, we will continue to update and push out notices as well. Our second question does involve, as Dr. Moore spoke about, students with IEPs and any student that's on a 504 plan. The question is, how will those meetings be held? If you were a student or you are a family that had an IEP or 504 plan meeting scheduled when we were first had school closures occur. If you remember, we were out for about a week just prior to spring break. So there were meetings scheduled throughout our schools during that time. If that was you or your family had a meeting scheduled, we will contact you or the schools will be contacting to reschedule those meetings. If at any time from now through to the end of the typical school year or regularly scheduled school year, we will be setting those and conducting those IEP meetings and 504 meetings. If as a family you are uncomfortable with holding a meeting virtually, or that does not fit your style or comprehension of just how you want to have that meeting held, and you would prefer that to be a face-to-face meeting. Since we are unable to do so at this time in the manner and style in which you are most comfortable, you may choose or elect to hold that meeting at a later date. Just please advise the school or the resource specialist when you are called or when that meeting notice is sent home to you. That can be rescheduled. We will simply make a notice of that, and we will hold that meeting at a later date when the state or the governor determines that that can be held, or we can change that meeting style. So please let us know and communicate regularly. We're happy to do so and meet the needs of families at that time. Our last question has to do with servicing students that may need to be challenged more academically, or those that may not. How are we going to look at the academic needs of individual students? So we encourage students, teachers, families to collaborate, communicate, consult with all of the providers, the academic providers, whether that's a general education teacher, whether that is a therapist providing various therapies and related services, whether that's a mental health specialist, or that is an ESE teacher or provider. We ask you to communicate on a regular basis. And the reason that we intend to do so is because over time in this new service delivery model, this temporary service delivery model of how we are doling out instruction to students at this time, it may change, and it may change weekly for students. That is why our staff is meeting every Friday to determine what does that look like to meet the needs, the unique needs of students. Now we want to talk about CNI. What CNI has done is developed a solid foundation of 4 different delivery models. They are meeting the needs of a broad base of unique instructional models for students. So they've done an exceptional job of covering the needs of students in 4 different ways. So just there on the foundation and instructional process, they're meeting the needs of a variety of students. So it takes the services of ESE providers now to provide support. What we will do is evaluate that on a weekly basis on Fridays to determine how can we better support the needs of your students. So as we review that on Fridays, we are asking families to communicate what that looks like with the experience of your child on a weekly basis. So as we communicate, collaborate with the general education teacher, with our families, we can better support your students on a weekly basis. So we ask that you do so and then communicate with the staff. You can do so if you have continued questions. Please call our hotline for the exceptional student education. That's 772-564-6090. And then for our mental health division, that number is 772-564-6111. So if there's a need of services or just some clarifying questions of how we can go about providing additional support, please contact us at any one of those hotline numbers. Dr. Moore, those are the only questions we have this afternoon, but we're happy to provide support at any time throughout, from now to this temporary model or change is through by the governor. So our questions are through. However, we have another message from our board member.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Rosario. I am one of the school board members representing District 2 in Indian River County. Everyone in our community, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the commitment, for the patience in unrolling what we are all about to face. Teachers have been working very hard all last week in preparing for students to begin their teaching and learning from home beginning tomorrow. So I just want to encourage you all on the job that has begun and all that is still to come. I know that this is new to everyone, but I know also that you have an incredible team behind you. I encourage you and your children to focus on building relationships with each other. This time is time that we did not expect to be together. We hope that you embrace all of the opportunities that stand before you, and we are encouraged that good things are ahead for all children here in Indian River County. Know one thing, you are your child's best hero. You are their best cheerleader. I'm rooting for you. You can do this. Take deep breaths. You've got this. We must all reach and teach every child, every day, in every way. God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Rosario, for those kind and warm words. I do have an update for you, a breaking news update. My staff is watching a conference call with the Commissioner of Education, who just announced that schools will remain closed through May 1st. Leading up to that May 1st deadline, they will reevaluate our reality at that time and to define next steps. So live here on the Indian River virtual town hall meeting, we are announcing that we will remain closed through May 1st. So that is just been released literally minutes ago, so I want to have the opportunity to share it with you. We are in this for a longer time than we thought, but let's be real, I think all of us knew that May 1st would be a more realistic time frame. I also want to encourage all of you to refer back to our webpage. A number of our experts have referred you back to our webpage. As we pull information together, we house everything on our webpage, and as it has been mentioned and even live here today, information has changed. So as information changes, our website is a great place to find that information. One of the resources on there is a quick reference guide. That is an outstanding resource for you to familiarize yourself with the reality that we're currently dealing with. There are frequently asked questions in which you could read at your leisure and have those responses there for you. The hotlines that keep being referred to are live, they are active, those resources are there, those numbers are there, as well as an email address for that time. How to access the mobile devices, how to ensure that technology is available to you, and the Wi-Fi is also there and provides additional links for you. But rather than just read about those resources, we have an expert here who I will thank yet again for all the work that he has done over the last 2 weeks. laptop distribution. Those laptops were not just at those 6 schools. We had to go to all of our different elementary schools, corral them, bring them to the locations, and then literally cut the charging cables out of the boxes in which the carts that they're in, so we can ensure that they are available. Then we had to ensure that they were clean and sanitized before we gave them out, and that they were operational and ready to go. In addition to leading that work, as well as the platform and the instructional support tools that your children will be using in the coming days. Mr. Greg McDonald has done an absolutely outstanding job, him and his team. As a community, we cannot thank him enough for the work that he has done. And here to share a little bit about that work, as well as answer questions you are posing, Mr. Greg McDonald.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Moore, and thank you, Indian River community and Facebook Live community. I would like to say on the hotline that Dr. Moore mentioned, we have had a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions. We have a lot of equipment, both our equipment that we have distributed. We have people's home computers, their phones, and everyone in our community has just been so gracious, friendly, understanding, knowing that this is a unique time, and they've been patient, and I just want to say thank you very much for your attitude and working with us and through this difficult time. Also want to thank our staff. Dr. Moore mentioned we have a very talented staff ranging from network support to webmasters to application support specialists to technicians to in-the-field techs, that none of this would be possible without them, and they have done a fantastic job, and just wanted to give them a little shout out there. So I'm going to go into a few questions that we have here. And so one of the questions is, we have iPads at home. Can you use the ClassLink app on the iPad to access online learning? Well, I first want to mention what kind of devices you can use at home. You can use a Chromebook. You can use a Windows device. You can use an iPad. You can use a Macintosh. You can use a MacBook. Virtually anything that you can use the Google Chrome browser on, you can access any of our resources. So yes, you can use it on an iPad. The only caveat with an iPad is the iReady platform needs to have an application installed from the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store, and it's iReady from Curriculum Associates. And once you download that, go through our normal ClassLink process. All that information is on our website, and you'll be able to access those applications. Okay. The next question, are our kids allowed to watch Netflix on the SDIRC laptops in the afternoon or after school hours? Well, I will be the bad guy and say no. Our laptops actually have a filtering device that allows us to make sure that they're watching safe content at home. Not every student will have a parent with them 24/7, and we definitely want to make sure that they are watching what is appropriate. So I will say no for Netflix. Okay. The next question, internet access is an issue within Indian River County for those who aren't that rural. Broadband is not even available to many residents. Given that libraries are closed, will we be providing hotspots? Well, we do have hotspots on order. We anticipate them arriving this week. We will have a limited number of them. And after our laptop distribution is fulfilled at the end of Wednesday, then we will be looking at, hopefully the hotspots are in, and then we'll be coming up with the distribution model. But we have taken that into consideration. Okay. And I believe that is all the questions I have. So thank you very much for your time. And Dr. Moore has some closing remarks for us.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. This is truly a new day, which we face unknowns each and every single day. As a community, we need to partner, we need to understand, and we need to work together. Tomorrow, laptop distribution, parents being contacted by their teachers, bringing this new reality to life. Please know that we are here to support you. We understand the stress that this coronavirus has caused on us as individuals and us as a community, us as a nation. We need to support one another by being flexible, by being understanding, and ensure that we do not add any additional stress to ourselves or to our community. One of the ways that we can ensure that we don't add that stress is to be committed to having the conversation, committed to providing feedback. When you feel frustrated or you don't have the information that you feel that you deserve or you need, please email me, email my team. We are here. We want to get this right. We strive to be best by kids each and every single day. And you can't be best by kids unless you're willing to step back, evaluate your actions, evaluate the implementation, and then define how to make it better. That's what we're striving for here in Indian River School District. Not to be okay, not just to struggle through this time, but to continue to provide world-class education despite this obstacle, despite this challenge. And we want to do that together. So looking forward to coming back tomorrow, having opportunities to ask additional questions. If you feel you have additional questions, please submit those questions. Again, we will be online tomorrow. Let me encourage you, if you have specific questions, your principals have been empowered and have been charged to solving problems as close to kids as possible. So feel free, reach out to your principal. They want to support you. They want to support their teachers and ultimately their students. So please feel free to reach out to them. I will be out at laptop distributions tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing those of you who are coming to pick up a device in our final 2 days of laptop distribution. Cannot thank all of you enough. First and foremost, the School District of Indian River County School Board has been extremely supportive in this work. Just not supportive to me, but supportive to our entire team. Out there supporting the distribution, holding doors, pushing people in to get the laptops, passing out water and meals. Never have I seen such a committed board understanding the complexities of this reality, but rolling up their sleeves and getting out there and providing that support, and their willingness and understanding in supporting me. Absolutely, thank you for all of your support, school board. For my cabinet, we have pushed ourselves to the point of exhaustion, and I hope each and every single one of you feel a great sense of pride for that work, your expertise, your willingness to go above and beyond within your area of expertise to ensure that we are leaving no stone unturned to provide the highest quality support possible to us as a community. To our district team, time and time again, you have demonstrated the tenacity, the courage, the unwavering drive to continue to push forward, to create what had not been created, to design programming, behind-the-scenes technology and resources, made them, put them together, and they're pushed out and ready to provide support for our students. Thank you for all that you've done. Our principals, I know that I've mentioned them a number of times in this presentation, but our principals have stood up, stood out, spoken out, have been true advocates and champions for our children in this community. I am confident that we will get through this because of their leadership and their willingness to be best by kids. Our teachers, thank you, thank you. Even though last week was your spring break, we offered optional professional development and training on the resources that we will be using starting today and moving into this new reality. 1,000 teachers logged in and accessed those trainings. And to me, that is something that just says, even though we're on spring break, we want to be ready to be in service to our students. So once again, thank you. Our staff at schools, our staff in facilities, everyone in an unknown, unwilling time or unfamiliar time has really been stepping up and doing whatever needs to be done, creating assignments to work from home, providing suggestions on how we continue to be in service to our children, to our students, even though how we are working and functioning has completely changed. This has been a challenging 2 weeks, but at the same time, very rewarding. Rewarding to see how we have responded, how we have come together as a community in order to support our children. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your willingness to listen. If you have additional questions, we will begin our next presentation tomorrow, same time, same place. Please submit your questions. We are here to support in order to provide our students in Indian River County with a world-class education. Thank you. God bless.